Morning. Today, the adventure is getting back to yourself. Journaling the journey. So I've grabbed my journal today. End of the year, mid-December, it was suggested to me to start journaling things that are happening in my life and trace, give me an option to track my progress. So today I've brought my journal out, and as you can see, it's quite a big journal, and it goes for about 7 or 8 months. I used the journal, and also that was my starting point, mid-December. And then as I got to the back of the book, I went to the front where I was using the front for meetings and stuff like that, and I decided I'd just keep the book to journal my journey. So today I just want to share a few things that I journaled to help me on my journey. And yeah, it's just an idea. Writing stuff down means you repeat something, and you get a chance to look back at it, see the lesson that you learned or what you're going through at the time, and you adjust. And wow, I remember that. I'm so far along, and I see the same thing differently now because my foundation is better, stronger. So I'm just going to give you 5 examples of things that I use journaling for. So in December, when I started, I had to drop the illusion that just basically where my life stood, who I was at that time, and it was glaringly obvious that I had a lot of work to do on myself, to clear a lot of noise, and the unknown. There was a lot I didn't know and what I was heading into and where it was going to lead. So anyway, the first one, mid-December, after a resonance moment where I'd been doing some learning, I was working with an AI, and my whole body lit up with goosebumps and stuff, and I recorded that. That specific moment was something that resonated with me. We discussed something, and deep within, I got it, and my body just lit up. The other one, on the 30th of December, I was holding 2 truths at once. Yes, I am awakening, expanding, aligning, stepping toward my higher self. The other truth is I was available. I am available for love, sovereignty. I'm receptive and present in relationships. Once I've got that feeling sorted, I felt at peace for that part. So remember, these are just examples I've used on my journey. You don't have to copy me verbatim. It's just an idea. At first, when journaling was suggested to me, I was like, no, I don't need that. No. And then one day, when that resonant timing happened, that was just what clicked for me. And I was like, yep, where's my book? And I started writing it down. One. So, where's it? Number 2. So this one's about the ego resistance for the job. When I was heading into the job, I was questioning if I was ready for it. I wanted a bigger role in the awakening. I thought I was further down the path than I was at that time. So I was really struggling. So here I wrote down some mantras for that upcoming period for my job. This was on the 1st of January, and I was due to start work on the 3rd of January. So mantra for upcoming tests: if I wobble, I return. If I return, I rise. One one-time internal command, identity stability. I won't trade myself for approval. I return to myself instead. So that means I stay with me. I'm not going to outsource my thoughts or for my value to someone else to, pat me on the back or validate a feeling that I've got. I wanted to trust myself. So that was what that was about. The four pillars of trust. I will not abandon myself when pressure hits. I will stay with me. I can be with my own reactions without collapsing. So internally, I could be spiraling, but I stayed with me. I trusted it. I didn't project it outwards. I held on to it. And then I returned to clarity after every drift. I listen before I act, and then stand by my action. So trust how I'm going to respond. I might be upset internally. Whatever was going on, I could hold it, or I was trying to hold it, and I wouldn't let it interfere with my interaction. So, 3, there was some real friction about what my future role was going to be. I was thinking I just didn't want to be a boy on the floor. I'd come from a manager role. Is this my life? I thought I was going to be more involved in the awakening, like I said before. So it was disappointing. I flatlined my energy. I was outsourcing it. So then I just reframed it. So it was like, I don't have to want it. I show up anyway. Today serves my life, not my story. I remain present, honest and steady. And we talk about this. You don't outsource your happiness or your joy because of external noise. That's internal. So through journaling my journey, doing the work constantly, consistently, I've learned and grown my foundation stronger. Validation is how I see myself, my self-worth, not external parties. I'm not outsourcing that. I don't need someone to tell me how I'm doing. It is nice to hear it. People volunteer that, but I'm not going searching. So when you search, you leak energy. So what else we got? During my journey, my direct boss, my supervisor, he kept talking to me about not wanting to stay there long. He didn't like the place, and regularly just inferred that he was going to move on and I'd be stepping into his role. And that sort of appealed to me because, like I say, I come from that higher management role, running operations, stuff like that. And here I am, I'm the newest person on site, the lowest job, I guess, the entry job. And I was really, I felt like a hook, I guess, and now I just see it. He's not going anywhere. I don't need the job to validate me. I don't need a title to show who I am. I'm enough. And I take pride in my work, and I'm happy in myself, and I get on with the staff. I don't see any position or people with titles as higher. I believe now frequency holds more value than someone's title, which I will talk about in another video. So there's 4, and then plug in the leaks. So I was leaking energy, obviously wanting to take over his job, or when I'd get asked to go do something else, pulled off a job that I was doing, I'd leak energy there. Looks like I'm going to have to do this in 2 parts, guys. So I'll stop this one here and do a new recording and do a part 2.